Um, I did want to talk about this. I want to talk about this De La Soul book, High and Rising by Marcus J. Moore. I have it because I had a birthday last week, and somebody was kind enough to order me this book for my birthday. And the thing that the controversy that I'm about to present to y'all, um, like this is not a rant because for me, this is one of those situations where I think I can see all the sides, and I'm just curious to really know what y'all think. Um, so this book got released, and De La Soul made a statement about it, and I'm going to share with y'all what this statement looks like. Shout out for Mr. Clorox for giving me a way to block ads. It's really easy. Um, De La Soul made an Instagram post that says this. Well, this is the picture, and this picture's already like mad rude. Like this picture is rude as fuck. Um, and then I think this was on Instagram. Their post said, "We've been receiving congratulatory, friends and De La family. We've been receiving congratulatory messages about a book titled High and Rising. However, we want to make it absolutely clear this is an unauthorized book and we are not connected to it in any way." The statement begins. It continues, "For years, you've stood with us in our fight for ownership of our catalog and the right to benefit from the music we created." What they're specifically referring to, for those who are unfamiliar, they had a fight for years and years and years with Tommy Boy Records, which stopped their albums from being on streaming services. So for the majority of the last couple decades, you couldn't really hear De La Soul albums if you didn't have them on physical media, not in any sort of legal way anyway. Um, and so they're equating this book to that fight. That same dedication to protecting what's ours extends to being the ones who tell our story, something deeply personal and de la to the core. Our story will be told in our words, in our way, with the style you've come to know and love. Until then, we encourage you to indulge in the authentic Daisy Age by supporting projects backed by us. If you choose to support this book, that's your right. We just wanted to be clear that we do not support this book, and we are exploring all of our legal options. Whew, that right there, oh, it feels weird, man. It feels weird. Like, and I understand where they are coming from, but it feels weird to me. Now, I haven't read this book yet. I haven't read it. I just got it last week, or actually a few days ago. So I haven't read it. I don't believe it to be a biography. I don't believe it to be the story of De La Soul. It seems more to be like a book about De La Soul. And that's what it says, literally in the title. It says a book about De La Soul. Um, the back jacket quotes call it a love letter, a book written by a smart person about a thing they love, an exploration of De La Soul as a band. Um, so I don't know if there's anything that's definitely anything that's said in it that's a negative. Um, and I'm not sure what legal options they have too. I just think that's a wild thing to say, is exploring our legal options, because it does seem to be largely a book that's celebrating them. So I don't know, like, if you're looking at legal options, one would assume that you're looking at legal ways to potentially stop the book from being out, or so. Like, I don't know what you can accomplish there. Um, it goes on to say, even within this book's title, the three is missing. I mean, it's not just the three is missing. The book is called High and Rising. It's not called Feet High and Rising. So it's not just the three that's missing. 3 feet is missing. The three is missing, which shows how inauthentic it is, because for us, three will always be the magic number. We're cooking up something special for spring 2025, so the wait won't be long for more of that authentic De La. Now, I don't know who wrote this. I would assume if somebody's on their management team, and I would assume that since it's on their official social media channels, it represents what the group thinks about this book. And again, this image is just something else. Like this image, I feel like you reserved the red circle with the slash for things that are like harmful. Like, I don't know if a book exploring your legacy is worthy of the red circle and slash treatment. But as I said earlier, I believe I see both sides of this. And I know that they are very protective of their legacy. They're very protective of their narrative. They're very protective of their ownership of all things De La. And it is a little bit of a situation where you could tell that the business struggles, the emotional struggles, the times they've been outright played over the years business wise, that they're a little traumatized. Like you can tell, like if you ever really communicate with anybody from their camp about, stuff that can or can't be done with um the idea of I mean, the idea of it isn't right, but explorations of De La Soul as a group and their catalog, they hold a strong control over it. Um, so I do understand them wanting to distance themselves to it from a certain degree, because if you look at this book, like, this is very much the iconography, the aesthetic style choices of the first album. This is a photo, obviously from around the time of the first album. It looks sort of official when you look at it. You know, it's got the look of an official product. So that part, it's like I get it. Um, I think the statement kind of goes a little too far, though. Like I think if you're talking about exploring legal options, that just seems like you're swinging a hammer when that's the wrong tool for the situation. Is what it feels like to me. It feels a little harsh. Now, if I'm speculating, I would also say this though. Um, I would imagine that in writing this book, Marcus Moore, the author, who I do know Marcus, and Marcus has a lot of bona fides within hip hop writing. So that's part of what's creating a controversy here too, is that all the music writers know Marcus is legit. Me as an artist who like press has helped me a lot in my career and I understand the importance of it. I understand the significance of a writer like Marcus writing a book like this. And a lot of the music writers, especially the hip hop writers, like the real legit serious ones. I mean, we had a moment earlier this week where somebody for the Atlantic wrote a bullshit article about De La Soul is Dead from a perspective where they obviously don't know anything about De La Soul, the legacy, the catalog, and they were just coming from a kind of bullshit place where a writer like Marcus has been steeped in this, has been writing about hip hop, has been like in it for years. So the way that De La is putting out language on this, it's sort of shitting on Marcus. And so like the writers, the rest of the music writers and the publications, like they're rallying around him. I don't know what De La Soul's plans are for releasing music going forward, releasing projects going forward. But I do think press is important. And I think press from writers who understand your catalog and support you is important. And I do think that's something that's worth fostering. But I was going to say this too. I would speculate that Marcus, in trying to write this book, had reached out to them probably a few times and was probably told by them that they didn't want to be involved and probably weren't going to support the book at all. So it's like them having probably stated that behind the scenes a few times, and then for the book to come out and for the book to look like this and for people to be congratulating them, for their fans to be congratulating them like this is an official De La Soul book, I can understand De La Soul being in a position where they want to push back against it. But I do think they pushed a little too hard. Curious what y'all think though. Like I said, I think I see both sides of it. I think it's just a fucking mess, really. I think this is just a mess. I don't like this. I don't like the writer being put in this position. I feel like maybe, the book people might have put him in a bad position too by kind of making this look very much like it's uh presented by or in association with De La Soul. Um so I don't like seeing that, but that's publishing, you know. That's sort of what happens. I mean, honestly, it's very akin to what happened to De La Soul when they first came out. The marketing people took a look at them and said, let's make them hippies. And then they had to fight against that for the next 5 to 7 years. But even with that, it's like you would want them to have a little empathy, maybe, for the writer. But it's tough because as a music writer too, right? Like you are trying to profit off of the group to some degree. Like that is like if we're honest, that is part of what he is attempting to do. And and the fact that they don't the fact that they don't support it or approve of it, it does mean something. It does mean something. I don't know what it means, but it does mean something. I was talking to Dave about this last night. I was talking to Video Dave about it last night. And he was asking a question. He's like, okay, well then who's allowed to write a De La Soul book? Because from De La's language, it seems like nobody is. And again, that's an unfair position for writers to be in, especially writers that have done their research, done their work, care about the music. They should have some sort of platform to be able to write books. Like, because books like this, they elevate rap music. They do. The more nicely published, hardcover, nice jacket printed books you get about rap music, it's better for rap music as a whole. Because it unfortunately, that's one of the things that our society uses to raise the expectations of what a genre means, like what an art form means. It's like, can there be nice books about it? It's a fucked up box to check, but it's true. It does. It legitimizes it. Unfortunately, it doesn't need to be legitimized, but it's helpful if it is. It opens doors for De La Soul and anybody else. Yeah, I'm sure the writer did reach out to them multiple times, and I'm sure multiple times he was told that they won't participate. But that's the controversy. I just hate to see it, to be honest. I do believe Marcus commented. Sam Morris Design asked if Marcus commented. I do believe he did. Let me see if I can. I might not be able to find that right now, but I saw some. I did see something from Marcus. Oh, so this isn't Marcus directly speaking to what De La said, but these are words that Marcus wrote about the project earlier this year. And they're sort of interesting to hear as well. This is all from a Stereo Gum article, by the way. And this is, I guess, when Marcus was announcing the book, he said this. It is my extreme pleasure to share with you the cover of my new book, High and Rising, publishing by via Day Street in November 2024. This book has been a labor of love and struggle over the past 4 years. Completed in the wake of Dave's passing, of course, Dave from De La Soul passed away, and his mother's death. I would assume that's Marcus's mother. Parts of it wrestle with grief and mourning in public and how to move forward when the mind and body refuses. High and Rising is a cultural biography with critical analysis. So it is a biography to some degree, and he's also critiquing the work along the way, it seems. It's also a memoir that not only celebrates De La, it unpacks my coming of age. At the behest of friends and colleagues, I'm asserting my voice and perspective a lot more in this book and elsewhere moving forward. For those who ask, Marcus, what are your thoughts? This one's for you. Um, so yeah, that's those are Marcus's thoughts, and he's got more there too. I don't know if he's specifically said anything um, about what De La Soul said, but that is the controversy as it stands at the moment. They should go after all the bootleggers that sell towels and shirts with their images on and share no profit and no love for the group, just make money off of them. I'm sure they would if they could. That statement puts you more on his side than De La's. Yeah, I mean, it's a personal statement. Cultural biography doesn't mean De La Soul biography, right? I don't know what it means, honestly. I mean, biography usually does mean the story of people, but we'll see. Dude's got a right to write about how the music impacted him. I mean, I would agree. I don't think most of those 33 and a third books are approved by the artist. They are not. I feel like this put way too much heat on the author, and the people that are hating aren't looking at the reality of publishing. And that's true too. Because part of what's happening here as well, um, part of what's happening here as well is that De La Soul's fans, after reading that message, are now kind of shitting on the writer too, which is yeah, it's fucking unfortunate. It is unfortunate. And yeah, I just hate to see an artist I love and writer I respect at odds publicly in this way when everybody's just kind of doing their job. Like and subscribe, homie, friend. It's free. Stop playing.